Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be explaining how I do air layering. Enjoy! So it's my Shishigashira Acer Palmatum. And before we start today, I may sound a little different. I'm currently suffering from man flu. Just trying to work through that, but yeah, the videos don't stop. So yeah, done an air layer on the Shishigashira yesterday and I thought it'd be good to record it and just kind of show how I, as a novice, complete an air layering. So just using a craft knife here, a bit like a sanding blade I suppose, and I'm just cutting through the top few layers of bark, trying to expose some sapwood. Generally speaking, I make the wound as big as the circumference of the branch, or even bigger. I usually go a little bit larger. It's just to stop callousing completely, because if it makes a bridge in callus, the air layer won't work. So a bit of an explanation of how this all works. So it's the anatomy of a tree. With air layering, we cut through the bark, the phloem and the cambium, down to the sapwood. So the sapwood is what transfers water from the roots to the leaves. And then through photosynthesis, the leaves would then pass that energy back down to the roots. But obviously we're cutting off that kind of transfer back to the roots, and what will happen is you'll start to form a callus around the cut area. That callus should then produce roots. It kind of puts the tree the branch into a bit of a shock state, which then forces it to create roots. So this way we can propagate trees while they're still on the tree, propagate branches while they're still on the tree. So like for this tree, I think I paid £30 for it on eBay. I think they actually got a mix up because I was supposed to get the 30cm one for what I paid, and I think I ended up getting a metre tall one. It's quite a large tree, this one. It's got a lot of branches that are just long and uninteresting, so any of them branches I'm going to take away bit by bit. And what I like to do with some of these air layers, I'll give some out to friends, anyone who's interested, but at the moment there isn't too many people. But I'll also put them in pots and sell them on, so I, put them on Facebook sales or anything like that. And even if you get £5 to £10 back for a branch, you only have to sell 3 of them to make your money back on the tree, and that's generally how I do most. So I'm just going to be using some rooting gel. I like to use gel when I do air layers. I like to use powder when I do cutting. So just a little brush there. I'm just going to paint that gel on around the top there, and the rooting gel just kind of helps promote root growth in that area. And then what I like to use is cling film, just because it's easy to use and it kind of sticks to itself. Sphagnum moss as well in there, so sphagnum moss it's the best way to keep moisture really. And then the plastic wrap on top helps retain that moisture even more. So I'll loosely wrap that round, and what I'll do then is get 2 little wires. I'll do one wire at the top, one wire at the bottom, just to make sure that it's stable. So it's always important to leave a little gap on the top so you can, when you're watering it, kind of waters the sphagnum moss as well, keeps it moist. And then a little hole at the bottom as well for drainage, so it has to drain through. Because when we do eventually get root growth, which should only take about 5 or 6 weeks, when we do get that root growth, we don't want it rotting away basically. Now roots tend to like darkness, so they don't really like growing in light. So what I'll sometimes do is get another black plastic bag, or I think this time what I'll do is I'll get a little black plant pot that I had a seedling in. I'll cut that to size and then use that just to cover over, just for a bit of darkness for when the roots start growing. you want to pick something that's easy to take off, so you can check in on the roots every now and then, because obviously it's a guideline. You know, when I say 5 to 6 weeks, if it's a really healthy branch and a really healthy tree, it might push out roots in 2 to 3 weeks. And that's just for maples as well. So maples I find are the quickest air layer, along with some other deciduous as well. If they're higher water mobility kind of species, so they like a lot of water, you can guarantee that they'll probably root quicker. There are some species that can take years. There's other species that really don't air layer at all. Pines usually. So one thing you can do with air layering is you can have like a mother tree. So if you have the space, you know, plant one of these in the ground. It's the quickest way you'll get it thicker. And then with any kind of branches that grow off it, you can wire them branches, you know, make some funky shapes for them, and then over time air layering them off, and then you essentially get a pre-made bonsai, rather than having to grow stuff from seed and taking years and years to get to that place. Also, the root formation that you get from air layers is good for bonsai. Air layers generally produce quite radial roots, so your nabari already starts in the right direction, rather than having seedlings that have tap roots. And so I've got that cover on. I'm just going to backfill that with a bit more sphagnum just to keep the moisture in there. So what I've done is I'll put in my calendar for 4 weeks time, and then I'll do a little update video of how this one's going on, and hopefully shortly after that I can remove it. Just a final bit of water in here, and this is obviously where you can see that the top branch on this tree are just long and gangly, and why I'm doing the air layer really.
If you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification. I'll see you soon.